Hi, this is Jeremiah from MileIQ, and welcome to part 2 of the MileIQ for Teams demo. In this video, I'll show you how to navigate through the Teams dashboard and what you can do as an admin. If you're interested in understanding the driver's experience, make sure to check out part 1 of this demo. As an admin, you'll need to access the Teams dashboard by logging into MileIQ.com on a web browser. Once you're logged in, it'll pop you right here into the driver's dashboard, and on the menu bar on the left over here, just click on Teams Dashboard, and that should bring you into the admin side. What we're looking at here is a Teams dashboard overview, where you can see a quick summary of your team's activities. On the right side of this page, we'll share any MileIQ admin updates, so be sure to check it out from time to time. And now that we're on the Teams dashboard, I'm going to show you how to set up your team, review drives, download reports, and set custom reimbursement rates. We'll also go over some time-saving tools and integrations which you might find helpful. All right, so how do you set up and manage your team? First, you're going to want to click into the Users tab here on the left sidebar. Now that you're in the User section, this is where you can view and manage people on your team, like add or remove drivers or update their personal details. Now, to start your team, you're going to want to click on Invite Users and go ahead and type in their emails here. Use myself as an example, and then from here, you'll see this drop-down menu and you can choose what role they are. Are they a driver or are they just admins? Note that MileIQ only charges a subscription fee for users who have driving powers, so they're a driver. Admins get access to the dashboard for free. Now, if you have a large team, you can bulk upload email lists using this CSV template here. And once an invitation is sent, team members will receive an email to download MileIQ and accept the invitation to join your team. If they already have an individual account, don't worry, they don't need to create a new account. They will simply need to accept the team invitation from the app or a web browser. Now, in this demo, we have 13 total users, and there are 3 types of users. We've got admins and drivers, and just an admin. If your team is on the standard or pro plan, drivers can submit their reports directly into this admin dashboard over here. Now, this is where your admins are going to be able to view all the reports in a centralized database. Admins who are users who have access to this reporting dashboard can review drives and set team features. Admins who are also drivers can do all of that, plus submit reports directly into the admin dashboard as well. Note that the admin on Teams Lite plan will need to ask their driver to submit the reports via email because reporting tools are not included in this plan. You can downgrade and upgrade users by clicking on the 3 dots here on the right of each person. Now, you can also view the driver's details by clicking onto that driver, and you can see here you can change their name, their role, and you can also add their commute mile distance. Adding a commute mile distance will allow the app to deduct the mileage that you've set here, business mile drives automatically. And I'll cover that a little bit more later in this demo. Now, for users who have not yet accepted the invitation, like you can see here with Emily, you'll notice that they're grayed out. In those cases, you can resend an invitation by clicking on the 3 dots, resend that invitation, and that should bump it up back into their inbox. In some cases, if you've given up, you can also just revoke the invitation, and that'll just remove that person from your team. Now that your team has been created, let's move on to the Reports tab. So, how do admins review their team submitted drive reports? First, you'll want to click onto the Reports tab. That should bring you to this page, and over here, you'll see a summary of their total drives, distance driven, and the amount that they're expecting for reimbursement. You can adjust the reporting at the top of the page here. So in this case, we're in June. If we want to take a look at July's, or maybe you want to customize that range, we can also adjust for that as well. Now, to see a list of everyone's drives, you want to click into the entire team's drives, and you can click here, you can click View Drives, or just click on it. And you will see everyone's drives in one report page here. This will pull up a list of drives from everyone on your team for a specific time period. I'll let's do June. You can also use these filters at top to adjust the dates, see only certain drivers, or find drives with a specific status, or if they were manually added, meaning the drive card was manually added by the driver, or if it was automatically tracked by MileIQ. You can also filter for the purpose of that drive. Now, if you want to see a specific report from an individual driver, you can just zoom back out here and click on the driver that you wanted to look at. I'll click onto cache, for example, and you can review their drives similarly to what we were doing in the entire team earlier. Now, as a pro tier admin, you have the ability to reject or approve drives. Rejecting drives mean this value is removed from the pot for reimbursement, and accepting it means it is approved for reimbursement when you go ahead and download the report. If you need additional details about a drive, let's say this is a $10 value, we want to take a closer look at that, we can just click onto it and we can see here all the details of that drive from point A to point B, the timestamp over here, the purpose, and then any notes that they may have put in here too. You can also leave a note to other admins, so that note there, and if any other admins click on this, they will be able to see that note that I just left for them. From here, you can also use the drop-down menu to approve or reject a drive, and that should take care of it. You can also approve or reject here. It's really totally up to you. Now, my best practice tip here is that to review the drives that should get rejected, because chances are there's going to be very few of those. In most cases, you'll just want to approve the rest. Instead of sitting here and clicking them one by one, you can actually just hop back out here and click Quick Approve. And what that's going to do is for the remainder of the drives that you have not touched yet, it'll just automatically approve that for you. So that'll save you a lot of time there. All right, I want to show you what manual drives look like. So we're going to go ahead and hop into the entire team. I'm going to filter for all the manually added ones. And what you'll see here is anytime you see this M symbol, that means it was a manually added drive. The driver input these coordinates themselves. It wasn't something that the app has tracked. And so in those cases, chances are you might want to take a closer look at these to make sure that you are verifying these before you submit them for approval. In this example, I'm going to say that manual drives are not covered by our policy, so we're going to go ahead and just reject all of them. You'll also notice that some of them were approved already, but that's totally okay because you can always change the status of a drive from approved to reject or approved to no status, whatever the case may be, very simply. And there you go. All of them has now been rejected. And I'm going to head back out here and say, okay, everything else is approved by our policy. So I'm just going to go ahead and quick approve the rest of those drives. All right, now that we're done approving those drives, we can go ahead and download those reports. Now, I have a couple options here. You can download the report as a PDF or as a CSV file, or you can do a consolidated report. The top two options will give you an individual file for each of the drivers in a folder. You can also consolidate the report, which will give you just one CSV file with all of your team's drives in it. Now, you'll want to make sure that the reporting period you have selected at the top here, so in our case it's June, is set to the time of your choosing before you download or create that report, because whatever you download is going to be affected by the reporting period that you've selected. So what do PDF reports look like once you download it from MileIQ? What we're looking at here is an example report from one of our driver's cache. And at the top here, you'll see that it shows the name of the driver, the date range that we selected this drive report to be, and then when we exported that. Now, you'll also see here at the very top, it's a quick summary of what is in this report. So we can see here that the value approved, any parking fees or toll fees that was incurred within this month, or whatever that drive range is, and then the total distance that was approved, how many drives were approved in total, and then how many drives were manually added. You'll also see line by line item with timestamp and all of the important information details included in here. The status of the approval, every single drive is going to be listed within these reports. So feel free to pause your video here if you need to take a closer look at the data. I'll scroll right back up here. and go ahead and review that. Now, what do reports look like when downloaded as a CSV file? Here we have an example of the same driver, but this time we downloaded the report as a CSV file. So in this file, you'll be able to see what team they're on, who that driver is, their starting location, start time, end location, end time, the date of that drive, the purpose of that drive, the vehicle that they use, if that's important for you guys, any notes that the driver had put in for that drive. Was it a manually added drive? Total distance of that drive. This is the distance unit. And then the rate. So by default, we go at 70 cents per mile. Any parking or toll fees, the total value of that drive, and then of course the status of the drive, meaning whether or not it was approved or rejected. So feel free to pause this video right here to see the data provided in the CSV file. All right, now that we've seen what an individual report looks like as a CSV file or a PDF file, you can also download a consolidated report, which essentially puts all of your team members within a single report. So you're gonna hit download, click create this report, and let's go ahead and say we wanna see the year to date. So starting on January 1st all the way to the 15th of this recording. And we wanna see their drives on a monthly basis. So I'm gonna go ahead and download that. Once that's downloaded, and you can see here all of our drivers starting from January all the way till July. And you can see in one column, this is the total monetary value. And on this column, it is the total miles that that driver has driven. So go ahead and put pause right here if you want to take a closer look at what the consolidated report looks like. All right, now that we've covered the basics like setting up a team and reviewing and downloading reports, let's talk about some of the admin features you can set for your team. Are you looking to adjust your team's cost per mile rate? If you are, let's talk about the custom rates over here. By default, we'll set this rate based on your country's tax authority. Under the Pro plan, you can change the rate if you need to go lower or higher based on your company's policy. Click on Change Rate, and then set the rate and the date it goes into effect. This will change the reimbursement rate for your entire team's drives starting the date of your choosing. Do you have addresses that are frequented by your team? If you do, hop into the Team's Locations tab and let's talk about this feature. Now this feature allows you to name addresses your teams travel to, so when a driver starts or ends a drive at a team location, you as the admin will see the custom name during the review process and in the reports. This will help you review drives much faster. In our example here, we've named all of our warehouses and office locations. So if we head back to the Reports tab, I'll show you an example, you will see that many of these addresses will just be replaced by a team location name. So this one shows that it's in the Chicago office, and we see Jeremiah's office here, and we also see some of our customers like Menards and the Chicago warehouse. As an admin, I can quickly scan through the reports and approve the drives with team locations much faster, saving me time. It also just makes identifying which drives may need a closer look at. We know that some of you might have a lot of team locations to add, so we do have an option here that you can add either individually or do a bulk upload. Just go ahead and download this template, fill it up, and then just drag it back in here, and it'll go ahead and upload it in bulk for you. We also know that sometimes you might miss some of the locations, and if that's the case, we got you covered as well. So we have this feature here called Suggested Locations, where we will identify addresses that your drivers are landing on or starting from on a regular basis. So you can see here that 2 drivers have visited this specific address 26 times in the last 90 days. And so I can go ahead and just click that. I can take a closer look and see what that is. And then from there, I can go ahead and give it a name. So I can say client A, and maybe I can just save that. And that would just instantly add the team location into my list. And you can see it right here. Now let's talk about a couple more admin features in the Settings tab here. First, let's go over the commute mileage feature. This is going to be under the Pro plan, and it allows you to set either a driver-specific or a team-wide commute distance, which gets automatically deducted from drives labeled by your drivers as a business commute. You can choose which policy you want to set using this drop-down menu here. For driver-specific commute, you can set the distance of your drivers in the Users tab. So we'll do that. Hop into the Users tab, and you can see here, this would be their commute, and this is the number that would get deducted from their drives that are labeled as a business commute. Now, if you want to do the team-wide commute distance, you can set a number here, let's say 10 miles, hit save, and that would essentially deduct 10 miles from everybody on your team whenever they select a drive as a business commute. This tool is especially useful for drivers who sometimes commute into the office, but sometimes directly go to a non-office work site. And in those cases, they would just swipe those and categorize those drives as a business. Next, let's talk about report reminders. This feature takes nagging for reports off your hands and lets MileIQ do it. Set a date, let's say the 18th, and then we can also set the frequency in which it'll repeat. So maybe I want to customize it and say every 3 weeks, it will send a notification. It's going to do an in-app notification and also an email to all of your team members, reminding them to submit the reports. This really helps getting people to submit the reports in a timely manner here. And this feature is exclusive to the Pro plan. And then finally, for organizations who reimburse drivers through Concur, MileIQ offers an integration with Concur. Turning this on allows your drivers to submit their drive data directly into Concur. From there, whatever settings you've set in Concur for reimbursement will be applied to your driver's data. If you need help setting up the integration, please check out our Help Center for a step-by-step tutorial. And that concludes our demo for the Teams dashboard. Please check out our pricing page to review which plan will suit your needs. Once you sign up, you can always review and adjust your plan in the subscription tab. A big difference between teams and a team with an individual MileIQ account is that billing will be unified under a primary admin's account. You can also try MileIQ for Teams Pro for 30 days free of charge with no restrictions. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at support@mileiq.com. Safe driving, everybody.